Yeah, we're about an hour away from kickoff on Super Bowl Sunday. You'll be watching this after the Super Bowl because I won't post it until the Monday preceding Super Bowl Sunday. But I wanted to do something special for it, and these are two places from Kansas City and Philadelphia that I personally really wanted to try. This isn't really a versus, so I know people are going to get upset that I didn't get cheesesteaks from Philadelphia, but I got a pizza. A couple of years ago, Hearst, the brand of chip, came out with a tomato pie chip that I really enjoyed, and it was from this place. It was called Corropolese Bakery, and it's located in Philly. I always wanted to try this pizza, so when I saw it on Goldbelly, I'm like, you know what? Cheesesteaks is kind of weird because I am serving this to people when they get here, which is, I gotta hurry up. They do this tomato pie. Now, this isn't all that came with it. There's actually 3 other pies that are in the oven as we speak because I wanted those to be fresher than the one that I'm gonna be touching. This was different than any other pizza place that I've gotten off Goldbelly, which is about 3 or 4 at the time. It comes separated. I don't really want to touch this. Most of the places, it comes just as a frozen pizza. This was actually fresh dough that was already put out and perforated, and it came with 4 of those, 4 sauce containers, and some Romano cheese. So I had to take the dough and just make sure that it was at room temp and then spread the sauce on it, put it in the oven for 10 minutes at 500 degrees. And then once that was out, you sprinkle the Romano cheese on it. Out comes this. So it resembles a fresh pizza, which is really cool. Now, I don't know if you get this in the same size at the place or if it comes in a bigger size, but I like the fact that it was fresh dough and it wasn't frozen. So bravo to them. I did a Kansas City barbecue place a while ago that was called Joe's Barbecue. I thought was one of the better barbecue places I did on Goldbelly. And a lot of people were mentioning this place, so I wanted to try this one too. This is called Jack Stack Barbecue. And this one was a lot more expensive. It came out to about $200, but you get a pound of burnt ends, 2 pounds of brisket. It's like 10 or 15 wings. And this isn't everything, but it's most of it. You also get some barbecue pulled pork. They come in individually wrapped packages. All of them are 400 degrees at various times between 10 and 20 minutes. And the last place that I did, which was in Texas, I think this actually looks better. The brisket looks much juicier. Everything was much juicier coming out of the oven, and it was also a lot easier to cook. But this isn't a comparison of that. I just wanted to try these places. Now, I'm only sampling this because this is also what people are going to be eating for the Super Bowl. So I'm going to put my glove on and transfer this to some plates, and then we're going to get going. But I'm going to do a little bit of the brisket. All right, we are good to go. Everything's transferred to our plate. So I have a sampler of everything, and then I put a third of the tomato pie. I'm going to start with the tomato pie because that was the one I'm most excited to try. Tomato pie, if you don't know, there's no actual like shredded cheese or anything on it. The only cheese comes from that sprinkling of Romano on the top of it. But this is what it looks like, a tomato pie. This isn't relevant to the video, but I also want to give a shout out to hers. It does taste exactly like the chip does, which is crazy. The sauce is a little bit sweet. I know in some places in New Jersey that do tomato pies, the sauce is even sweeter than this. But it's not like overly sweet, but it's a little bit sweeter than you'd be used to if you had like regular pizza. The dough is light. It's pretty airy. And you really do need that little sprinkling of the Romano on the top as well. This is good. There hasn't been many pizzas from Goldbelly that I thought were like even remotely good. And this is definitely worth the price of admission. I followed the directions. It says 500 degrees for 10 minutes. Me personally, I probably should have put it in for 15 because I like mine a little more well done than this. Like, everything's cooked, but I just like mine with a little more crunch on the bottom part of the dough, which would have been solved if I just kind of freestyled it. But I wanted to follow the directions because the crust pieces I'm getting are excellent. Now, I know there's a lot of people saying you could make this pizza at home. Probably so. But I wanted to try it from them. And I'm definitely okay with how this came out. Being from New Jersey, we're very spoiled with pizza. So I wouldn't say this is like the greatest pizza I've ever had. But I do think it's damn good. And I do think that if I got it from there, like the actual place, like just sitting there, it would be even better. My intentions is... I'm not quite sure I'm going to do it, so I don't want to bother people sticking a camera in their face, but I'm at least going to try to get some sound or some kind of feedback from them on how everything goes to from everyone who was there. So stay tuned for that. I'm not quite sure. I'm winging it. I wing it every Super Bowl. But if I was rating this against like things on Goldbelly, I would give this an 8.5 out of 10. If I'm ranking this just like as a pizza, I give it a 7 out of 10. I still do think it's good, but it's better than almost every pizza I've ever had from Goldbelly, save for one, which is a crab pie from Baltimore. That was delicious. And over to the barbecue. This is from Jack Stack. This is Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City has had some of the best barbecue that I've done on this channel as far as like Goldbelly orders go. Well, I'm going to get right into this because we already talked about it. Let's start with the burnt end. This looks really, really good. It was even juicier before, but it's been sitting out for like 15 minutes, so it's a little room temp now. If you watched my last video I did on barbecue, they didn't send barbecue sauce. They did. So I'm going to put a little on here. Well, that was a fatty piece. I like that. That's good. It's still juicy. The fatty pieces, especially, are excellent. Nice smoky taste to it. Most of you have had burn ends. That's a very good burn, especially for getting it sent, which can be a toss-up at times. Also, I have one of these barbecue wings. Also smoked. Oh yeah, that's a good one. This is seasoned with some sort of like barbecue spice blend. It's not over the top though. Salt, pepper. The real star of the show. It's got that bark that you would get when you smoke these for a while. And I don't even think it needs a barbecue sauce. Good wing. Very meaty. I don't like them little pigeon wings they give you. I like the big wings. They are harder to cook though because they can dry out easier. But this, again, it's a little room temp because it's been sitting out. But even with that is good. That's a good wing. I would order just those wings again. I'll give the wing an 8.5 out of 10. And then we got some of this brisket, which they sliced for you. I prefer when you're gonna get brisket from like these places. It always comes out better when it's pre-sliced. And barbecue sauce. A little bit of that brisket. Everything is sauced and seasoned the same, and I don't even care. Because the barbecue sauce, a little more tangy than sweet, but it works really well with that smoky barbecue. Nice and fatty, not dry at all. All I keep thinking, because you know how I get down, is this would go crazy on a damn sandwich. Man. Napkin. And then finally, let me get a damn drink. I'm like, y'all see, I'm tearing this up. It's good. It's better than the last place I had. Finally, we got this pulled pork, which I'm not quite sure what to think about it. It's been sitting in like that, like vacuum sealed tube. So, don't know how good this is going to travel compared to everything else. I can feel my blood pressure rising with this, but it is good. It's kind of salty. It's kind of salty, but it is really tender. It needs barbecue sauce, like more of it, to cut through that saltiness. But for something that traveled, that's probably the best pulled pork I've gotten of any of the barbecue places because it's shredded up real nice. It's seasoned up real nice. And it's still super tender. It didn't dry out at all. I probably won't try this again after this. I might give me a little plate while I'm watching the game, but that's damn salty. As far as barbecue that I've ordered, it's probably about 7 places at this point. Off the top of my head, it's top 3. The Kansas City place, the Ethiopian barbecue from Texas, that one I did with my dad a while ago, and this. In no particular order, All three are really good. Kansas City has 2 out of the 3 places. I think that comes down to your barbecue preference. I'm much more of a burn ends person with the barbecue sauce and just how they do things. I love Texas barbecue, and those 2 places to me, of the places that I've done, which have been Carolinas, Memphis, I've done a lot of them. Those are my 2 favorite barbecue places, and I can't wait to visit them and clog the living hell out of my arteries. But either way, y'all can see, man, I just gonna have to get it. I just hope to see a good football game. I got about 10 minutes. I just got a text message. People are going to start coming over in a second. I'm going to try to get some footage from the Super Bowl, but if I don't, I appreciate y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the game. It's about 10-6 right now, so people are going to start rolling in. So I got to, get everything ready. Okay, the Super Bowl just ended. It is 10:50 p.m. So we're fresh off of the Chiefs getting absolutely dismantled by the Eagles. It was definitely not a game that I expected to see, but just for the sake of having a little bit of fun, I took a little bit of notes, and I'm going to go over my video from yesterday and see how close I was on any of these predictions. So let's do it. I'd rather enjoy what it is. So picking a score is like, you're not going to be right. I think the Chiefs are going to win, but it doesn't mean I think the Eagles don't have a chance. Chiefs clearly didn't win. The Eagles definitely had a chance. I just want to see the details of the game. This is why I don't like predicting things, and just see how close I was. But if the Eagles play their best game and can force the Chiefs to make some uncharacteristic mistakes, they'll win the game. They cannot turn the ball over. They cannot not force turnovers on defense. It's like the most basic stuff you say about football, but you cannot give the Chiefs a chance and keep this game close. If the Eagles can race out to a lead, get yourself 21 or 14-7 or 17-3, something like that, they've got a really good chance to win this game. So that was the part of the game that I think I got right. If they could force turnovers uncharacteristically from the Chiefs, I did say that if they could race out to an early lead and they could limit the turnovers on offense, they would win the game. They did. I just didn't see it happening. So I was wrong about that. And Spagnol's going to try to get creative on doing something to nullify. He's going to try to put the game into Jalen Hurts' hands, and it's going to come down to, are they going to be able to do what they did last week where Jalen Hurts was on fire? He's good enough to do it, but he can be a little unsteady. To do what they did last week and Jalen Hurts was on fire. I was right. They did put the ball into Hurts' hands, and he delivered. I've talked to Philly fans on my stream that weren't really high on Jalen Hurts. I've always said he's a very good quarterback, not like in that S-tier of quarterbacks, but he showed something today. The receiving core was on fire, and I think the team just played a really good game. I didn't see it coming. But, congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles, champions, deserved, and great job. These are notes that I took during the game. I didn't record anything because I was just enjoying, everybody being here and stuff. The ticker, what do people call it now? The score bug. The ticker's the thing underneath that. A lot of people were complaining about that, and it kind of was trending on Twitter later on that I saw. But it looked a little weird. I don't really care, to be honest. It didn't bother me, but everybody else watching the game, they kept making comments about it, so I wrote down the ticker complaining. I got to try some 7-layer dip, which I've never had before. Everyone else loved it, and I did too. I've legitimately never had it before. I didn't grow up eating a lot of dips and casseroles and stuff like that. It just wasn't a thing. So that was my first time trying it. It's pretty good. It kind of tastes to me like Taco Bell, but not as cheap. That would be my best, and that's a compliment. I think it was really good. So if you like 7-layer dip, I do too. You can count me in that crowd too. The pizza, everybody loves it. Everyone said that they thought it was really good. They loved the sweetness of the sauce, kind of like I said. This is across the board. They were kind of piggybacking off of each other, but I do agree with them. And one of which said it was their new favorite kind of pizza. Where can they get it? I said South Jersey. I know they have it in Trenton. That's a really popular place in Philly. So might have to take a road trip. Everyone also really liked the barbecue. My dad said that he could want to put it on a sandwich, which is exactly what I said in the video, which is nuts. Then most people said that the pulled pork was also a bit too salty, which is exactly what I said. But overall, they said it was really good, and they think that it was worth the buy. A lot of them have tried some of my Gold Belly food, and they said it was one of the best. So yeah, that's that. Finally, to the halftime show. Most people are fans of Kendrick Lamar that were here, but they don't think that he's the best performer. They thought his mic was a little bit too low. They thought that there would have been better performers than him, but nonetheless, with what they expected, they thought he did a good job doing it. I agree with most of those sentiments. I'm a fan of Kendrick Lamar. I know people love this Drake versus Kendrick thing. I like them both. I don't really care about that kind of stuff. But as far as a performance type of thing, it was pretty much him rapping, and I don't got a problem with that because I was singing along most of the songs on there. But when you think about some of the people who put on these crazy shows, it wasn't crazy from that sense. So I would understand people who weren't necessarily fans of his music, you know, what they call a casual, I could understand them kind of not caring, because if you don't know the songs, you know what I mean? Whereas like you can't really follow along because there's not like that kind of like there's no dancing in that kind of performance from him. He'd just be doing his thing. But I thought it was pretty good. I did think his mic was a little bit too low. Certain thing. The other thing that I wanted to add in was I'm sure most people noticed, but when he performed Not Like Us, he smirked at the camera when he said, "Hey Drake," and I started cracking up. I'm not gonna lie. That's petty. I like petty. I'm a fan of petty sometimes. But overall, Super Bowl was cool. I wanted to see a good game. I didn't. It was pretty much a blowout. I don't really care to watch a blowout from a casual or a neutral standpoint. But if you're a Philly fan, I'm sure you enjoyed it. But other than that, I wanted to do this just kind of little wrap up of the stuff. And that's going to be the end of the video, man. I appreciate y'all. I'll be back tomorrow. More content, man. Hand signs. They made it to YouTube.